What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a move off the line that all wide receivers need to know. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like to get some work in with us this offseason, we are going to be traveling out to 15 different states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. We'll be coming out next to San Francisco, California. That camp is unfortunately sold out. But then we'll be coming out to Orlando, New Orleans, Charlotte, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles. So check out that very first link in the description below if you'd like to get some work in with myself and want some more information on the details of these camps. Let's get started with this video. So now, first thing we're going to be talking about is this hesitation slide release. So now we're going to be showing how you can use this slide release on a slant route and on 3 other routes that you guys can run. So first example is from Stefon Diggs. He does this slide release to the outside, hits a crossover, and is able to run a slant. So that's probably the most basic form of this release. Next, we're going to be showing Davante Adams building off of this release into a different route. But let's talk about this one first. So reason why we use this slide release. We got inside shade press coverage. We want to use this slide release to try to threaten this DB to the fade like we were running to the back pylon. And then we slip underneath when we get him to move off of his platform. So it's very important when I do this slide release that I attack this DB vertically, right? A lot of wide receivers don't get this. With this slide release, they'll come off the ball, and instead of attacking it almost like a 45-degree angle like you see Stefon Diggs do, they will go lateral. So they'll do this slide release, but they'll go this way. Now, when you go lateral, even if we get this DB to move off of his platform to the outside, and I try to run this slant, I still have to get to here. And that gives that DB plenty of time in order to recover. So I need to make sure that I am attacking him vertically like Stefon Diggs does with this slide release, because that makes this DB make a decision. When you go vertical, when you attack at a 45-degree angle, he either has to sit to the inside and try to stay disciplined, or he has to move, because he's going to give up one or the other. If he sits to the inside and stays disciplined, what does he give up? He gives up the outside release. And that's what we're going to be talking about in these later examples. Or he could jump off the platform, but now since I attack vertical and when I hit this crossover, I can beat him to the spot where the slant is going to be thrown. I could win the race to the ball. So when we slide, make sure we're attacking vertical, attacking his outside shoulder with that nice patient shuffle, hit a crossover, and then accelerate to that ball. So that's the first part of this slide release. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Diggs attacking, get him off the platform, and making sure we're pushing vertical. So now let's look at this router from Davante Adams. So now how can you build off of this? We talk a lot about, wide receivers, you want to have a plan. You want to make sure coming up to the line of scrimmage, you know what release you're going to do based on the DB's leverage, and you don't want to make things complicated. Going into a game, you should maybe have about 5 to 6 different releases you can use for 5 to 6 different situations, and that's it, because you're going to overcomplicate things if you're thinking about 20 different press releases. So this is a way you can use this slide release in 2 different situations. So Davante Adams is going to be running an out route. So let's watch what he does here. He does this slide, then accelerates and breaks on the out route. He takes this outside release with it. So this is textbook because we make it look the exact same. We are forcing the DB to have to make a decision. And when we force the DB to have to make a decision, he has a 50-50 chance. He's 50% either right. He's going to guess right and play it correctly if I have to run a slant, or he's going to guess wrong if I have to run some kind of outside breaking route. So we watch Davante Adams here. He slides, hesitates to the outside. It's the same thing, right? But the DB's playing discipline to the inside. He's keeping his leverage. He is giving him the outside. Okay, fine. He's sitting to the inside like this, I could just accelerate and go. If he wants to sit to the inside, that gives me the fade. He's guessing slant, so I can take the fade all day long. So now the reason why this is so great to use is because obviously it's a great way to get separation. It's a great way to get a free release. A lot of wide receivers, when they have this type of coverage where it's inside shade, they'll just take off and go run. But if you just take off and go run, DB's going to get hands on you and squeeze you to the sideline. You're not going to have any room to run your fade, to run your out. So he gives this little hesitation move. Make it look like the slant. Maybe we've gotten this guy before. Maybe he's jumped off the line wide. I hit him with a cross and I ran the slant, like we've all seen Davante Adams do a million times. So now this DB tries to play it. He tries to play discipline. He tries to keep his leverage, and that just gives Davante Adams the free outside release. So this is textbook as to how you can use that slide release to build into a slide and go release. You could use that on a fade. You could use that on an out, etc. So now, how can you play with this? Let's look at this example here now from Amon-Ra St. Brown. So now, maybe I have to run a slant again. And again, like I said, fellas, there's a creativity element to these types of releases. There's not one way to do it. There's a million ways to skin a cat. There's a million ways to run a route. But it's just all about being able to stay efficient, being able to get separation, and keep timing with your QB. So now what Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to do here is he's going to give this little hesitation slide and then right into a diamond release. So it's a way to make it look like that slide and go without just pretty much just making it look the exact same, but now we're running a slant. So let's watch what he does. So he does this slide, takes off on a 3-step diamond, makes it look like a fade, and then catches that slant. It's the same idea, fellas. We're making our routes and making our releases look the same. So that's 3 different releases that all build off of each other right there. So he comes off, it's the same tempo, right? He attacks vertical. He's making it look the same. You see how he's doing exactly what Stephon Diggs did and exactly what Davante Adams did. He's not going lateral. He is attacking vertical almost at a 45-degree angle because that is what will make the DB make a decision. He does not slide flat. So many guys will slide flat, and you never, ever want to do that. You have to slide vertical. You have to attack vertical because, like I said, that will force him to either flip his hips or sit to the inside. We gain the leverage on him. So we slide off the platform. He's trying to sit to the inside. He's staying disciplined, but now St. Brown accelerates, right? And when you could accelerate, you go from 0 to 100. What do you think that looks like? That looks like a fade. He commits his hips and shoulders to the fade. He's running in full stride. He's actually got some speed. He goes patient, sudden. Patient, sudden. And that is what will get that DB to open up his hips and think vertical. But we have to be a salesman first, fellas. You cannot do this type of release and change up the tempo every single time you use a different release. It has to be the same tempo. It has to be the same angle. And it's got to be the same type of, I guess you could say, acceleration when we burst up. So that's a textbook release there from Amon-Ra. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. So that's a third way that you can build off of that slide release. So he comes off here, slide, accelerate on the diamond, and then get separation on that slant. So now let's look at Amari Cooper. Now he's using the same type of slide and go release. So now what I want to talk about here is mainly if the DB jumps it. Right, so let's say Amari Cooper has to run like a post route, for example, right? And so what he's going to try to do is he's going to come off the ball. He does that slide, like hesitation and go release. He's running a stop route right here, and you see how he's able to get a ton of separation. Now, if this isn't like a wide stem stop route, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of how he ran this, just because when he came off the ball, he hesitated, but that DB was able to stay square and kind of squeeze him to the sideline, right? If we had to run a fade right here, quarterback probably wouldn't throw us the ball because there's not much room, but because the stop route, we get lucky. So what I want to talk about is let's say you had to run like a post route instead of a stop route. Now, all of you might be thinking this because every time I bring up this release, people ask, when you hesitate and slide to the outside and you're trying to do like a slide and go, what do we do if the DB jumps it? So let's say you got to run a post, like I said, and let's say you slide to the outside, but the DB jumps off the platform and he shoots outside. Do you think you would force the outside release? No, you would probably just react and take the inside release and work to stack. Nobody said that you have to take an outside release or an inside release. The only time that I would probably never take an inside release on that is if I had to do like a slide into a crossover. Like if I was trying to do let's say, for example, my game plan was to do a slide and go. I wouldn't want to, let's say the DB jumps. I wouldn't want to slide, sit there and give a bunch of different moves and then take the inside release because that's going to take too long. It's got to be quick, right? It's got to be hesitate. I see that he jumps. I just put my foot in the ground, take the inside release. It's got to happen fast so we maintain timing with my quarterback. But fellas, do not force the release if we do not have to. You know what I mean? If I come off the ball, I slide and he goes with me, fine. I'm just going to react and take the inside. I don't have to just take the outside release automatically. Even on a fade ball, fellas, you slide to the outside, he jumps, okay, cool, I'm going to take the inside release. It's better than forcing it, sliding off the ball, and then getting squeezed to the sideline. He would be better off taking the inside release and working to stack so the quarterback has some space to throw him open. Unless, of course, it's a must or a mandatory outside release type play. So let's play this again full speed. So fellas, that slide release is one of the most dangerous releases you can use. You could use it on a slide, crossover slant, slide, go, run an out route, run a fade route, run a stop route, a post, whatever. You could go slide into a diamond release to get the DB to bite on the fade, run a slant. Again, of course, if it's a longer developing play. And then if you slide, that DB jumps, we could just put the brakes on, take the inside release and go. Let's play this again, full speed, one more time, like I said. Again, maybe Cooper could have hesitated a little bit longer to hold that DB. Great job putting the brakes on that stop. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys as usual. And again, fellas, if you would like to come out to one of our 15 off-season training camps this year, check out that very first link in the description below where all the info is located. I'll see you guys next time.